Hello and welcome. My name is Adrena. I am the owner and accountant here at Accounting by Adrena. And in today's video, I am going to show you how to get started with QuickBooks Online. So this is going to be a little bit of a tour, a little bit of guidance on how to set up your QuickBooks Online account and some of the information that you're going to need before you even get started. I also linked below a ton of other videos that are going to be useful to you in your getting started journey with QuickBooks Online. And I also decided to, after I recorded this video, I also decided to add in a little from me to you. And this is just a quick cheat sheet monthly bookkeeping checklist so that you can kind of follow that as you're working your way through QuickBooks Online on a month-to-month basis. All right, let's jump right in. All right, I'm going to share with you guys this new link, and it shows both links for QuickBooks Self-Employed and QuickBooks Online for the test drive version. So that way you can come in here and kind of take a look at both of the softwares to see which one is the right one for you and your business. So for this video, we're going to use click here to test drive QuickBooks Online. I've already opened it here. Now, if you were to actually go and just Google QuickBooks, here's what it's going to look like. And you can click this link and go directly to the website, or you can check out the pricing. So currently it's early 2023, and these are the pricings. You can actually do a free trial for 30 days and just to see if which one's right for you. So there are several different versions of QuickBooks Online, and I do have a video that talks about each of these versions and if it's right for you. So I'll go ahead and link that one down below. So most of my clients are actually on the Plus version. It's the one I like the best. I do have a couple clients on the Simple Start and a couple clients on Essentials. And if you're not sure where to start, well, first of all, I would say just get the free 30-day trial to begin with, and then just do the Simple Start. And this way you'll have like an actual feel for, what the app can actually do for you, like in case these don't necessarily make sense to you right now, especially if you're a new business owner, some of these terms might be new for you. So we're actually going to use the QuickBooks Online Test Drive version, which is kind of like, I think it's somewhere in the Plus/Essentials perspective. But I just wanted to say one last thing with regards to the advanced version. I would just say this is probably not for you if you're within the first year to 5 years of your business. This has a lot of bells and whistles, and this is really for people who need a more robust accounting system than most small business owners. So I wouldn't necessarily say like that you need this to begin with. If anything, just go directly for the Simple Start version. So I already have the test drive version open here. Now, the couple of things that QuickBooks is going to ask you, like once you select whichever plan you decide to go with, QuickBooks will have a separate screen, and you basically have to enter all of your company information. So be prepared for that, because if you go to the account and settings, this is really all the information they're going to be asking for. And it's if you're not familiar with it, it could take a little bit of time. Make sure you have your legal name, your EIN, or your social security number if you're not an LLC. Make sure you know the tax form, the industry. Make sure you put your business address in both of the sections. You can also just say same as company address here. And then you do have an option for marketing preferences. Let's see what it says here. I haven't actually clicked that. Okay, no, but basically this is asking for like which emails do you want to receive. And then it also goes through kind of like what limits you might have. So billable users, chart of accounts. This is the general ledger, each of those specific accounts. Now, billable users, like if you're going to be having your CPA or your tax person also have the capability of logging into QuickBooks Online, then there is a section for view only or reports only, I think. So that way you can have your CPA there and you're not getting charged for their being a user. And then you also need to go through kind of like all of your sales information, like, what type of terms are you going to have on your sales form? Is it going to be net 30? You can always come back here and change it too. So if you don't know the answer up front, QuickBooks kind of like auto populates some of these things. So you can always come back to this section and update it. So that's for sales. This is for expenses, time, if you choose to start tracking your time that way, and then advanced. So this is also good to familiarize yourself with, so you're aware of kind of like, these are the basic functions of like what's going to be reported on when it comes down time to like do your monthly or quarterly reports, annual reports, or even your tax reports. So again, like that's kind of like, they're going to be asking a lot of those questions, and it's going to look a little bit differently than what it looks like, what I just showed you. If you need to go back to that, you can always click the gear icon, which is here at the top right. And then it's going to be under your company, and you have account and settings. And so this is where you can kind of like navigate to edit those settings once you're fully in QuickBooks Online. Now, this is the dashboard. So I think it's important to become familiar with the dashboard when you do first create your QuickBooks Online account. And this kind of just shows you the several different options. If you used QuickBooks Desktop like way back when, this is kind of like mimicking that like homepage of QuickBooks Desktop. It's definitely a prettier version of it. It's more pleasing to the eyes. But once you have information entered in QuickBooks Online, it'll start making a little more sense. Things will start making a little more sense to you. Now, I would just say familiarize yourself with the sidebar and the different options that you have here. QuickBooks is updating the view of this, so it's going to look a little bit differently when it comes down time for you to, log into your account. And this sidebar can go away with this hamburger button on the top left. And then this plus new is kind of like a go-to quick button, basically. So you can enter all sorts of things like bank deposits, transfers, journal entries. You can enter expenses, checks, bills. You can also enter invoices and payments and things like that. So this is a fun button to be aware of. And so you can know right away that this is one of those, like, I think of like that Staples button that says that was easy. All right. So after you've got your account set up and you're ready to start, entering information, the very first thing that you want to do is connect your bank accounts. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to do all of that in this video. I have other videos that I can share with you. I'll actually link the other videos specific to QuickBooks Online down in the description box so that you have those. It's easy for you to kind of reference, because I've already done a lot of good videos that are helpful tutorials for you to get started for each of these specific things that I'm talking about, because there is a specific process, and I want to make sure that you follow that process as well. So first of all, you would want to connect your bank accounts, and you would just use this button here, but you would make sure you're going to the banking tab and then click link account, and then you follow the prompt. I would say you want to connect the accounts that are specific only to your business. So if you have a business checking account, a business savings account, and a business credit card. Sometimes I see people having more than one business checking account or more than one like business savings account. Or if multiple people have, business credit cards that are connected to your business, you want to make sure that you link all of those accounts right away so that the transactions can start coming in. Now, I think a clear option is to get started with your transactions at the beginning of the year. So this is mid-March right now. And so I would suggest when you connect your bank accounts that you would start pulling in the information from January 1st. So you have a clean cutoff at the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023. So this is really where you can do the bulk of your work in making sure that your transactions are being coded properly. And you can just, you can see here that a lot of information is already populated in this test drive version. So each of these have their own corresponding transaction if you click that blue click link. So then that one bank deposit had consisted of all of these different checks, and some of it goes back to savings. So that's how they captured that deposit. And then you would just click on match there. When it comes to managing your bank feed, I also have another tutorial on that. So I'll go ahead and link that below. I talk about, not just managing your bank feed, but also there's a video on entering expenses, bank deposits, and sales. And you can do most of that through these quick links here. So it's just good to become familiar with all of the links that are available to you. And let's see. And these options here, as far as like your company is concerned. The other section that I wanted to draw your attention to was the section called accounting/chart of accounts. So this is really this is the heart, let's say, of your bookkeeping. So it's going to list all of the accounts, all of the general ledger accounts that are basically, it comprises of the whole chart of accounts for QuickBooks Online. So if you ever needed to like edit one of them, let's say you want to edit the automobile one, and you can call it something specific, like let's say it's a VW Passat. And then if you had a separate automobile for a different car, then you can create that separately. So this is where you would be able to edit each of these accounts. And this is where you can come to look for any other specific accounts that you might be needing. So if you're not sure if one exists, there's accounting, there's bookkeeping, there's lawyer. It already provides you with a pretty like robust chart of accounts, but every business is different and every business needs are different. So this is where you would get to change and edit some of those. Now it says you're using 44 accounts of 250 accounts included in your plan. So that does change based on like which version of QuickBooks, you decide to go with. But that's a lot of accounts. I wouldn't necessarily recommend having a lot of accounts. If you ever needed to create a new account, you can do that here. You can press the new button, and then you would decide like which type of account it is. And by them kind of like splitting it up like this between income, expenses, bank, assets, it's really just on like where it gets reported on your financial statements, or where it gets reported to the IRS when it comes down time for tax time. So income and expense obviously are going to be on the profit and loss statement, and then these would be on the balance sheet accounts. So let's just say we're going to do a new expense account, and let's say we have processing fees. So this would be payment processing fees, because we would want to list that separately, especially if we're using a separate processor like Stripe or PayPal. And then you would click on save, and then it would just populate. So anytime you needed to go back to the banking feed and categorize one of the transactions with, we'll just pretend for a second, but if we needed to categorize one of the transactions, it would show up there, and you can easily just add that to your account. All right, the next section that I want to draw your attention to is the reports section. And I'll do a video on like some of the reports that I do love in QuickBooks Online. But for now, you can just see that these reports are split out by different sections. So you can actually favorite some reports, and these are considered like the business overview reports. And then it says like who owes you. So this would be like the sales piece of it. Oh, and then you can like pull like specific customer detail reports, which is interesting as well. What you owe, expenses and vendors, sales tax if you have employees. And then for my accountant, these are the ones I like to go to, and payroll. All right, so that is a tour and getting started in QuickBooks Online. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video.